Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a new surprise video that I didn't even know I was going to be making until tonight. I stumbled upon this tool that I think is very useful, that I think is very interesting, and I just want to share with you guys. Now, the tool that I'm talking about is Neroli's Lab. Now, this kind of came from, it's kind of like the child of the Sleep API team. This website used to be known as Sleep API. They've been working on it for like a year now. They've been working on it since early 2024. It's now 2025. And yeah, it's quite an interesting tool. Very comparable to the Rain on X team analysis and production comparison features. And there are actually some things that I like about it more, some things that I think it does better. But ultimately, I mean, I do think that the team analysis function in Rain on X is more powerful, at least than Neroli's Lab in its current state. But I think there are some things that this can do that team analysis can't do, and there are also features and in this that are a bit unique. And I think this is much more new player, much more user friendly than the daunting task that is learning the tool that is Rain on X. Um, so I just want to go over it as an alternative option for those of you that really want to min-max the game but don't want to take the time to learn the tool that is Rain on X. If you're interested in learning about Rain on X, I have other videos on the channel about how to use Rain on X. But this is going to be talking about Neroli's Lab and how to use it. And for comparison, I threw together this brief team of what I'd be making in Rain on X. This is what I'm using this week in the game. So at Old Gold Power Plant, it's estimating I get about 4.6 million, 4.7 million roughly for the week using the good camp ticket. Let's see how Neroli's Lab works in comparison. Now, they do have this tier list functionality. As of right now, it says just not found. They are very open about the fact that they are in beta, so we will be getting more tools, I'm sure, as time goes on. Things like this tier list will probably actually, be here. So don't count that as against them. It's still a very interesting tool for their calculator and their comparison options. So I've already set up an account, saved a couple Pokemon, and I just wanted to show you how the tool works. First, you just go in and you add a Pokemon. I'm going to go in and add, say, my Raichu, because that's where I want to start. Now, I know my Raichu is level 60, has a Mono Apple list. I think it's got like a 1,000 hour ribbon. You can set that there. You set the ingredients here. You can change this to ginger or eggs if you wanted for the Raichu, but I know that mine's got apples. You can adjust its skill. I'm going to adjust mine to level 7 because that is what is at in-game. You can also set the level here if it's not quite level 60. You can adjust that around as you wish. And then you just set the sub-skills in order. So I know mine has Berry Fighting S at level 10, Helping Bonus at level 25, then Helping Speed M. And then after that point, I'm pretty certain it's Research XP bonus and Skill Trigger M. And you just click Save. Save the sub-skills. It won't actually apply them to the Mons productivity unless they're at the level that you tell it. So if I tell it that I'm only at level 25, it'll show that the apples are locked, and it'll show that I only have the first 2 sub-skills. Put it at 60, it'll show that I have all of them. Nature. You can either just tell it what the nature is, if you remember what it is. Mine, I believe, has an impish nature. But if you want to select it too, if you don't know what it is, you can also just select Energy Recovery up, Ingredient Fighting down, and bam, it makes it. Tells you what it is and inputs it into the game. You can also tell it that it's shiny if you want to see the shiny model. You can also change it, keep the same sub skills, but change the species there, and you can change the gender even. It doesn't look like it makes a difference on the model as of yet. I wonder if they will eventually do that. But you can also bookmark the Pokemon, save it, but you can save it there. Now, oh whoops, I actually saved it as a shiny. My Pokemon is not shiny. So, there it is. It's made, and it's in the tool. Now, here it is. I've saved a few other Pokemon in the Pokebox, which if you want to add it to the Pokebox, you just click on them afterward. And instead of clicking Edit or Duplicate, you can duplicate it, and then it makes another one with a different name. They give them all random names for saving purposes, but we don't need 2 of them. We only have 1. Additionally, you can just click Save to Pokebox, and then that Pokemon will be saved. Now, I will edit this to have the correct name. This is my Gigachu. And there we go. So, you can see a breakdown of their productivity, but that's not where this is interesting. Where it's interesting is when you start making a team around them. So I can bring from the Pokebox my Zumachu, my Vikavolt, which is unnamed in real life, but is Tony in here apparently. Jesus the Quackable, also unnamed in real life. And then my Gardevoir, who I guess is named Patrick. And you can get a general overview of the team's productivity here, how much they're producing in terms of berries, ingredients, and skill procs. As you can see here, the Gigachu is far coming through over the other Pokemon on the team. But things changed a little bit because there's these few settings up here. Whereas Rain on X, you have an entire drop-down menu of tab after tab after tab of settings. An entire drop-down menu here if you have premium or if you have an account or premium, where you have to override settings. Whereas all that's available in Rain on X, in here you just got 4 settings and a trash and a start over button. You can just tell it what meal type you have. You can tell it the island that you're at. I'm gonna set the Oval Power Plant. You can tell it if you have a good camp ticket or not. You can tell it your sleep times. And then you just tell it what your meal type is, and then that's it. I'm making desserts. Now, one very useful thing about this tool over the Rain on X calculator is that it just tells you what your ingredients you're going to be making on average, and it tells you what recipes you're going to be able to make throughout the week. And attempts succeeded, how many times you'll be able to make this meal. It gives you a recommended meal split based off of the ingredients that you have, that your team is going to be making. There's individual breakdowns per member, showing their each individual contribution and how they're contributing to the team. They also have cute little quips that they say primarily based off of their natures. It's kind of funny. Like that one was a jolly nature. No nightmares here, only cheerful dreams. They make it a lot more fun than just the dark grayness of Rain on X. But they have this nice overview that's easy to read. You can tell, and it gives you cooking suggestions, which Rain on X has that feature down here, but it's a lot more intensive and it's a lot less user-friendly in my opinion. You can use it down there, but generally speaking, when it comes to cooking in Rain on X, you just kind of have to play with it, toy around with it yourself, try to figure out what works best for you. Kind of plan around the meals that you're looking at. This will just tell you, here's what to cook. Here's what you can cook. A weakness of this is that it doesn't account for stockpiling ingredients, at least not yet. So if that's something that you intend to do, then maybe this is the best tool for you. But for someone just getting into the game, easy to just throw your Pokemon in there and see what they say. Now, it may overvalue ingredients a little bit at the beginning, because I believe this is assuming a level 60 meal. Which new players are not going to have level 60 meals, so that is a little bit of a weakness of it. I could be wrong about what level it's assuming the meal is, but I wouldn't expect this high of number, and I haven't found a setting for the meal level. So that's where there may be a bit of a weakness. Now, something that I really like about this is the compare functionality. Now, really easily, you can just compare. If, let's say, I bring in the Gigachu, and I bring in my Zumachu. I can just make a quick comparison, check them out side by side. You just bring them in here, and you drop them in. You can even add new Pokemon that you don't already have, so you can compare a new Pokemon, see how it fits into your teams and stuff. And here's where I think it actually has something that the Rain on X calculator doesn't really have. You can tell it to compare them as filling the last slot on a team. So if they're on this team, then how would they input? And this can be really nice for the sake of working with that ingredient productivity you saw before. Because let's say you have the option. Let's say you have the option of this Gigachu that I made that produces, it produces some apples, but it's a berry specialist, but doesn't really need. It doesn't produce enough apples to consistently make Zingzab Spice Cola, compared to, say, a Skeledirge. A Skeledirge that produces enough apples and has Ghost Berry, that's Favorite Berry, which is the better choice. You can throw it in here and actually make that comparison, and it's going to calculate based off of filling that last slot on the team what the Skeledirge's apples are going to be valued at, in comparison to the value of the apples that the Gigachu made. In order to do that here, you'd kind of have to make 2 separate teams and then just kind of plug and chug based off how many you're able to do. And that might not be necessarily so nice. So you can see here that the Gigachu still does outperform the Skeledirge. Doesn't really matter because just for comparison's sake. And it'll give you an overview of how many apples and berries they're making. It'll tell you their strength, where that strength's coming from. You can even filter out a certain type of strength if you want to focus in on ingredients or focus in on skills. Let's say you don't want to consider skill strength because that maybe is a little unfair to Skeledirge, who has a energy recovery skill. Then you can just factor that out and just compare the raw ingredients and berries. And you can even get some other miscellaneous information, like how many berries they sneaky snack in one night, how many ingredients spill over in the night, their carry limits, their skill percentage, their ingredient percentage. If I throw in my Zumachu, you can actually see that the ingredient percentage changes because the Gigachu has an ingredient fighting down nature. And then a bunch of other random data down here that just gets calculated based off of their attributes. So I think it's a really, really interesting tool. I don't know if I'll necessarily be using it because I think I've learned Rain on X so well that learning this new tool and its new functionality and features, I think I can do a lot of this stuff manually for me, but for I think players who haven't learned Rain on X so well and don't have the time to learn the complicated tool that it is, I think this is a much more user-friendly option that newer players can get used to quicker. Especially if you aren't looking to doing any stockpiling of meals, if you aren't looking to do a berry bomb, there are better tools for those sorts of things in Rain on X compared to what this Sleep API is outputting, the Neroli's lab. But I just wanted to bring awareness of it to everyone's attention because it is crazy interesting because I haven't seen this really talked about much. So yeah, I'll leave a link for it in the description. If you learned about this new tool, never even heard of it before, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for that exposure. And if you've enjoyed, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe as well. And as always, I thank you guys for watching and hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.